and welcome back to our next episode of Watson Drops. I'm Kirby Dolak of LCTV, and today we're back again with Corey Godfrey, the environmental analyst from the Littleton Electric Light and Water Department. Last episode on Watson Drops, we met with Nick Lawler, the GM of LELWD, to get the latest updates on PFAS and the water treatment plants for our wells. Corey, it hasn't been long since we spoke with Nick to discuss PFAS, but I understand that the water department team has been very busy at the State House with engineering firms and working on the local fronts. Tell us what State Representative Jim Arciero has been working on and the impact of his legislation.
Sure, yeah. So Representative Jim Arciero introduced the special legislation last week in response to the Selectmen's petition to remove the Article 97 protections from the piece of land where we plan to build the Whitcomb Avenue treatment plant.
When will this legislation actually be voted on?
Soon, this legislative session, so before July 1st, it should get voted on.
So are we dependent upon this legislation before we can move forward? How does the timing of this vote impact construction?
Yeah, so the timing actually works out pretty well. The redesign of the treatment plant is going to take until about that time anyway, so everything should kind of line right up and be pretty much ready to go in the middle of the summer.
Last time Nick told us about a temporary pipeline that's needed. Mm-hmm. Can you explain its purpose, its rough location, and impacts to residents?
Sure, yeah, so we're calling it a blending pipeline. It's relatively quick to install, which is the reason why we chose that temporary solution. We want to get something in place as quickly as possible. Essentially what it does is it takes water from our Beaver Brook treatment plant on Great Road and sends it about 9,000 feet down to our Spectacle Pond treatment plant and blends with the water there. So the Beaver Brook treatment plant has much lower levels of PFAS. Once you blend it with the higher PFAS water at Spectacle Pond, it'll get us at least below the state limit of 20 parts per trillion of PFAS. So it's certainly not a permanent solution, but it's the quickest thing we can implement to protect everyone's health while we build the treatment plant.
So basically you're going to be running an above ground 9-inch main from one plant all the way down to Spec Pond, or?
Yep, yeah, that's the plan. It should be right off the side of the road, mostly above ground. There'll be some sections where it has to be buried. For example, at road crossings and driveway crossings, it'll be buried. Just shallow though, so it's pretty quick and easy to get that done. It'll be installed in the Mass DOT right-of-way, so it'll be off of people's private property, so it won't affect them in that way. There will be a little bit of, you'll see the construction happening, and there'll be that a little bit of disruption in the road. But it should be pretty quick. I don't think it'll take much longer than 6 weeks to install.
So when do you think that's actually going to start happening?
Hopefully mid-March. We just put the project out to bid today, actually.
Okay.
So I think we have 3 weeks until we get proposals in, and then we'll select a company to do the work.
Okay.
And we'll tell them to get going right away.
Are you going to send some letters out to the abutters so they know what's happening particularly?
Yep. Yeah, we've already done that actually to everyone on Great Road, so they're all aware.
Oh, great. So, Corey, with all this work to keep safe water flowing to residents, what's the impact on water delivery and usage during and after these temporary measures, and how will it be enforced? Because not everybody knows about what we're doing, so tell me about that.
Yeah, so the blending pipeline will still result in a reduction in water capacity for the town. So we'll be having a complete ban on outdoor water use this summer, which is something that I'm not sure we've ever done before, a complete ban. So we'll be getting that message out in every way that we can over the next few months to get people ready for that, through social media, through mailings, things like that. And then, we'll just have to do our best enforcing. There's only so much we can do with a limited staff, but we'll do the best we can.
So I'm going to do a worst case scenario. If a police drives by somebody who's running their sprinkler system, will there be a knock at the door?
Yes, there will be. So not necessarily by the police, but by us.
Okay.
And we're hoping everyone will just voluntarily comply, but if not, we'll let them know that they need to.
Okay. I know it's not Big Brother, but it's more of letting them know what the overall impact is.
Right. That's the thing. If everyone's watering their lawn all summer, we won't have enough water to supply the town. So it's important that they reduce their usage.
Okay. So the good message there, Town of Littleton, during this construction, Light and Water Department will get the information out to you about when you should not be doing the watering outside. It might be hard for the contractors that are, putting in new systems to water up and green up the lawns, but this is an important thing to take care of. Now, as far as the long-term PFAS solution, what's the status on re-engineering the new Whitcomb Avenue plant?
Yep, it's in the process right now. Part of that plan involves a permanent transmission main from the Spectacle Pond well over to Whitcomb Ave, where we'll be building the treatment plant. So the original design was pretty much final. We're just going back and making it larger to handle twice as much flow and to add PFAS filtration in addition to the iron and manganese filtration that was already planned there. So like I said earlier, I think the design will be finalized probably June or July timeframe, right around when the Article 97 piece will be resolved.
One of the things that I think you had mentioned to me before is a pilot study. And maybe it's good to re-explain, for instance, at Whitcomb Avenue, you were looking at class 2 pollutants, the manganese and a few other items. And now that you're doing PFAS, that's a different animal for one, but may require the use of some of the existing or technologies that are out there. Can you just kind of go through what it is and why we got to do a pilot study on what happens as a result of that?
Sure. So we already did a pilot study for the iron and manganese filtration. Okay. It's part of the standard design process for a water treatment plant. Okay. So basically the purpose of it is to evaluate different options for treating whatever contaminant you happen to be treating. So we did it for iron and manganese, now we'll be doing it for PFAS. So essentially you just take a small amount of water, you run it through a little miniature treatment plant that's inside of a trailer. There's certain companies that offer that service. And they evaluate different type of filters basically. Or more specifically, the media inside of those filters. So there's different ways to remove the PFAS, and they'll find the one that's best suited to our particular water quality.
We'll have a temporary solution that you guys are working to put in place, but that may not be the final design that gets used in Whitcomb Ave.
Right, so the temporary solution is the blending pipeline. There's no filtration involved there. Okay. It's more just a dilution approach. And the permanent solution will be actual removal of the PFAS through the filtration. So,
So we've been talking a lot about Whitcomb Avenue. The residents have been seeing a lot of work being done at the old highway department lately. Explain what's happening there to the structures and also to the wells.
So in the fall, I think it was November, we removed the old highway garage. So that's completely gone now. We removed all of the pavement that was associated with it. So that entire parcel now is essentially in natural condition now. We just have to wait for the spring to put the seed down, and we're putting down a special pollinator seed mix to encourage wildlife habitat and aquifer recharge. Yeah,
I know we have talked in the past about different biomes, for instance, that the turtles had down in that neck of the woods. Are there other species that you're trying to bring back or to support in that neck of the woods where we have that recharge zone that we can't have really anything else?
Right, yeah, it's just a great spot to have wildlife habitat in general for multiple species, because that parcel is connected to the Beaverbrook wetlands and other pieces of conservation land a little bit further upstream, so it just provides sort of a corridor for wildlife to move about. Good.
Besides the work you're doing with Representative Arciero at the State House, what's new with your department's interactions with Mass DEP? And then the other one that I asked Nick about last time is the original source of the contamination. Has it been identified or tagged? Because I know that was one thing that they were interested in seeing. Wasn't sure whether that might happen.
Yeah, so DEP is working very carefully on that. It's possible that the source of contamination is the same source as for Ayers Public Water Supply on the other side of the pond.
Do we know what that is?
We don't yet. Okay. DEP is looking at multiple commercial properties upstream of the pond.
All right.
And they've conducted some sampling, and they'll continue to do that. They're very, slow and methodical about it.
Yeah, they need to be.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's sort of where we're at there.
All right. Okay. Corey, remind our viewers, folks that have increased sensitivity to PFAS, what should they do? What kind of questions, if they do have concerns, who's the contact?
Yep. Yeah, if you're in the sensitive subgroup, which the state defines as pregnant women, nursing mothers, and infants under the age of 1, then I just encourage you to call our office, and you can ask for me, and we can talk about your specific situation.
Great, great. You guys are always there helping people. Finally, Corey, please explain the plans to hold the public forum on PFAS water treatment in March.
Yeah, so we want to hold a public forum just to give people sort of an opportunity to come, kind of hear an overview of what the issue is, what we've been doing to solve it, and to ask any questions that they have.
Okay.
So we're planning on probably the first week of March. It's not confirmed yet,
Okay.
but sometime in March. Yeah, we're looking forward to sort of addressing any concerns that people have at that time.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so we want to thank Corey Godfrey, environmental analyst from LELWD, for being with us today. We're going to be back in February to continue providing status on updates on the water treatment progress and other LELWD topics, such as electric vehicles. So thanks for watching this episode of Watts and Drops. Have a good day.